Hey, people. How is everybody tonight? Yo. Wake up, it's stream time. Or go to sleep, it's stream time. I don't know which. It's one of those times, I'm sure. How is everybody? Hey, Thespro, some KS player. Who else am I overlooking? Hey, Exotic Bunny. Housevolt. How is y'all? Shoutouts to my Tropical Storm Henry bros. Hope you all survive the night. The Northeast is getting deluged currently, from what I understand, and it ain't looking too good. I feel for y'all, seriously. We don't get a whole lot of that kind of weather, but, you know, it's unfortunate. What was my reaction when base got griefed? It was sad. I mean, you know, it was tense, really, because, like, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to smuggle items away or, like, escape even. I was chased by Tristan at the downfall of Space Valk 2 for, like, over a kilometer because he was in, you know, boat fly. And I logged out right before he could kill me. And I was one of the few people who knew how to elytra hack at the time. So I had a working elytra hack that was... I didn't know how fast it could go. So ironically, I could probably have outrun him at the time. But, like, I just didn't know. So, yeah, that was harrowing. So, like, yeah, every time a Space Valk got griefed, it was not a fun time. I can remember the standoff we had with Jared. That was something. They make great stories in, you know, in hindsight, but at the time it wasn't so fun. But oh well. John Cena. Ha ha ha. Smuggle drugs? No, smuggle items. This is pre-shulker boxes. So, like, all the stuff you worked for, you know, duplicated and other things of that nature, that, like, stuff was extremely precious. The era of shulker boxes has really spoiled people. You don't think about them as... Because, you know, dupes and, and stuff have just made items so easily obtainable. Because, like, everything is dupable. And if it's in a shulker box, you can make thousands of it in a minute. Or less. Depends on how the dupe in question works. But you get the idea. Like, it's nuts. So, yeah. How has everybody else's weekend been? Who will win John versus Roman Reigns? I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about, man. Oh my god, Jack. Is it true that the base members of Space Valk caught Nerds Inc. in the act? Yes, we did. I logged in at Space Valk 3. And it was the copy. And yeah, I caught them in the act laying TNT and everything. They'd already gotten the central pillar by that time. So there wasn't a whole lot that could be done. Like, they'd already destroyed. And remember, the disc wasn't filled in or anything. So, like, they got 80% of what I'd built by that point. But despite that, you know, it ended up being okay. Because, like, they thought that was the end of it. And so they didn't go poking their nose around anywhere else. And so I was able to hide for about a year at the original. That was good. I got a one-up on them. Oh, hey, Cerebral Parasite. Thanks, man. I, too, cannot drive 55. I gotta go at least 80 on the highway. Great song by Sammy Hagar, by the way. Highly recommend listening if you're into rock and stuff of that nature. Come on. So what all has been going on, I don't know, 2B2T or wherever? Fit didn't release a video today. What the hell am I to talk about? Like, I can't make a mountain out of a molehill if I don't have a molehill. Come on, Fit. No, I'm kidding. Fit's up to something. I can't say what, but he's doing stuff. It is ending in a month. What is ending in a month? You want to know when do you think I can finish Space Valk? Dude, I have no clue anymore. I was aiming for the end of the year. It could easily be 2 years. Like, I genuinely couldn't tell you. This thing has just become such a behemoth of a project. I don't know where to begin. Like, for example, ever since I started streaming last December, I've only maybe filled in 20% of the surface area of the disc. And, like, there's so much. It's just so much that I have to do. Oh, I is ending. Oh, well, fuck those guys. Who cares? What was that? Infinity Incursion or whatever? Like, meh. There's a fun video that a friend of mine is putting together. You guys will very likely hear about it. Where'd my... Oh. That's where that went. But yeah, the fun video is gonna be fun. In real terms, Space Valk will never be finished. No, it'll be finished. No. In real terms, it will be finished. It's just a monster of a build, so it takes a monstrous amount of time. That's just all there is to it. It's not anything special. You're from Russia? Well, hey, congrats. I'm not from Russia. But I'm prepared to explore the world download in 25 years. It's not going to take that long. You will be able to explore the world download eventually. TM. But hey, these things take time, man. You can't rush perfection. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to learn to wait. God, I feel like I'm on fire tonight. Like, literally. Like, I'm hot. Fucking hell. And it's been raining all week here, so it's humid as fuck. Ugh. When is it gonna be, like, fall? And my nose is draining from the sickness. Ugh. Drink water? Yeah, I probably should. Thanks for that wonderful advice, Silver Eyes. If you want to explore Space Valk, make your own. Well, I mean, you could, but I don't recommend it. It's very, very time consuming. It's not impossible. Just... Well, no, actually I do recommend it. Try making your own. It's actually kind of fun. I can't imagine not doing this. It's such a nice release to be able to give myself some sort of a creative outlet. You're gonna make it. Okay, well. Show me your progress on the Reddit, or on the Discord, I mean. And for bonus points, build it on 2B2T. And then, like, leak it or whatever. Taking Jack saying as long as time he's taken would place total... Well, I couldn't read that in time, sorry. It's taken me, like, 3 years of solid effort to get all this. Not counting setbacks. So, like, yeah, I mean, it's tough. Wait a sec. There's a light source here that didn't need to be. Why you light? I can just tell there's a floating light source here for no damn reason. It's like playing whack-a-mole. Every time I world edit, something ends up getting screwy. This is definitely up here somewhere. Come on. What is the meaning of the poll? It is a reference to a really fun rock song by Sammy Hagar. For those of you who aren't aware of who that is, he is, or was, one of the lead singers for Van Halen. And Van Halen is... I don't know how there are people who don't know who Van Halen is, but Van Halen was one of the greatest guitar players of all time. Eddie Van Halen passed away last year. And his band, Van Halen, is one of the most famous bands ever. Like, literally only a handful of other acts have come anywhere near them. Like the Beatles, Queen, and many others. You know, I could sit here and list Journey. You know, I could list names all night. But you get the idea. It's a reference to Sammy Hagar and Van Halen. Like, you don't need to worry about it any farther than that, but yeah. Because it's a catchy song. I love it. It was in my head when I made the poll. Like, that's it. There's no deeper mysticism here. There we go. Well, there's still an errant light source there. Oh well. Anyway, so you're going to ride this minecart path this way. And you can look out over to the edges here and see the colorful watery shit here. And yeah. Art. TM. How did I come up with the username Jack the Ripper? God. So back when I was an edgy 15-year-old, I originally had the name Magic Sevens as my username for this Yu-Gi-Oh forum that I joined. And I was very explicitly told, Magic Sevens? That sounds gay, by a friend of mine, IRL. And to be honest, yeah, it was kind of stupid. So I kind of was like, well, you know, I want a better name. Like, I genuinely don't believe in this name. I don't enjoy it. I didn't really think too terribly hard. I was like 14, 15, I think. I want to say I was 15, but I was probably 14. And so I was like, what name could I put that will inspire some form of... it'll make you remember me. It'll make you watch out for me. And I was like, oh, well, the name of the famous serial killer Jack the Ripper. Yeah, that'll do it. And so, being an edgy teen, that's exactly the name I adopted. And I was also like, well, you know, I can't just use ER, PPER, you know, Ripper. I gotta spice it up, make it more street, you know. Because I've got that street cred, don't you know? Homie. Brother. And obviously, probably should have thought twice before doing that. But I went with it. And that was it. And so I just kept the name Jack the Ripper for many, 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 many years. And by the time I realized, I mean, it was only like 2 or 3 years later, but by the time I realized that it was stupid as hell, it was already too late. I was already known by Jack in the various places that I browsed and posted. None of which have survived to this day, by the way, so don't bother. A lot of those older forums have shriveled up and blown away with the wind. It's hard to believe a time where people used internet forums, but like that, those used to be all the rage in the mid-2000s. Even all the way up till the early 20-teens, right before Twitter and Facebook killed everything. That was the way you talked. The people you met were on forums. The shit you were interested in had a forum dedicated to it, a fan site, something. People just don't do that anymore. And so, yeah, that was the thing. And I had grown accustomed to the name Jack, which is nothing like my real name. And it was a nice little escape from it because I hate my real name. And I was like, yeah, that'll do. Jack. Just call me Jack. I like that. And pretty soon, everybody everywhere would just always refer to me that way. And then let's see now, that was what, 2005-ish? When I got the name. And then Minecraft came out in 2009. So 5 years later in 2010, when I discovered Minecraft and registered it, or my account, Jack the Ripper is what I used. And it has been that way ever since. And yeah, I'm just like, gotta take what I take. Gotta do what I want. It will be okay. And for many years, for 10 years even, I would say, about 10, 15 years, or no, 10, 11 years, the name Jack the Ripper wasn't anything anyone cared about or heard of or knew anything of. And then I make a bunch of blocks floating over the void look pretty, and everybody's all like, you're a 2B2T legend. The silky, smooth, satin-voiced man on the YouTubes talked about you that one time. And I'll admit, I did a good job. I put my all into that base before it was destroyed. But I've long since moved on from it. And when I finish this place, I will have long since moved on from it too. So, you know, I'm not just Jack the Ripper the Builder from 2B2T. I'm a sculptor. I'm a sculptor, damn it. I use pixelated blocks as my sculpting medium, but I'm a sculptor. Can't you see? But I kid. I like to throw blocks around for fun. That's it. That is the origins of me. I get that question so many damn times, I ought to make like a clip of it and just show them. Hell, I've been looking to do shorts for a while. I might do that. Interesting. Am I a Fate Stay Night fan? Yeah. Bruh. Fate Stay Night's so good. However, the Fate series has kind of gotten off track. It's it's silly now. Like, they can kind of conjure up some interesting ideas, but for the most part, it's really... Fate is not that great anymore, I hate to say. Sad state of affairs. But hey, that's life, you know. The Fate franchise is a little bit older than my username. About 16, 17 years, roughly. So like anything that sticks around for too long, if it hits its stride early, then it will lose its stride quickly. And like, yeah, that's happened with the Fate franchise. It's gone to pot. And it's super popular now. That's the thing. Like, I don't know. The original Fate Stay Night novel was so good. Like, there's just an experience to that novel if you've never read it. It's a trip. It really is. So yeah, I had a skin designed after Archer from Fate Stay Night for many, many years. And that seems to be the one, because that was the skin that Pyrobite spawned in that head of. So it bears that head, or that head bears that skin, I mean. And that's just the one people have come to recognize me by. But I can't use a copyrighted character. Not forever. Boy, it would be nice, though. I'd fucking love to use Archer. Archer's a cool motherfucker. Hey man, what's behind your IGN? Your entire life story and then some. I mean, do you really think an IGN isn't tied in some way to a person's identity? Like, yeah, kids aren't allowed to name themselves, sure. But your internet handle? That's your chance to make yourself the most of yourself, you know? The best you can present yourself as. Yeah, it's stupid, and, you know, Jack the Ripper is an excellent example why children aren't allowed to name themselves. I was a kid when I named that. But you live with it. Like, you don't think that, who are you? Hold on. We're, Games with Thori. I mean, Games with Thori. What, is your name Thori? Is that related to something you like? Like, you didn't choose those letters randomly. You have an idea behind why that name is your name. Everybody does. At least, I hope. You don't consider something without having it tied to you in some way. Come on now. Shit. There we go. Nothing is disconnected from anything else. I mean, all things are connected and always have been. So yeah, I mean, you should expect, if you want to know someone's name, you should expect to get their life story, or at least something somewhat similar. Like, I've lived my life on the internet, and God, that's almost depressing to say, but it's the truth, and it's probably going to be the truth for many, 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 many more years for many more people. Oh, damn it, this doesn't add up to the right pattern. Ugh. Oh, well. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. That's just the way society has changed. You probably live a ton of your life on the internet, too. That's sad? What's sad now? Got called out by Jack. Must change the name. I mean, sorry, man. Nothing is truly that sad. At least not that. What were you calling sad, Cerebral Parasite? Link's Pokemon, I'm not Jared, but I've had my fair share of fun with Jared. Oh, that Jared. Yeah. Docs was shared claiming it was Jared, but no, it was not Jared at all. Oh, man, I'm sorry you got hit by that. Collateral damage. Oh, that's gotta suck. Is your name Jared just by accident? Because Jared 2013's real name is actually not Jared at all. So, like, anyone seeking out Jared is kind of wasting their time. That's unfortunate, man. I feel bad for you. Bananas are the reason your name is Banana. Are you sure you yourself are not also partially bananas? Because that sounds like a bananas reason to name yourself Bananas. Not gonna lie. But hey, everybody's got to be some flavor of crazy. Being banana flavored crazy can't be too bad. I'm personally watermelon flavor crazy. Maybe just a little bit of pumpkin spice latte. Holy shit, this root beer is so good. This is like the first soda I've had in, oh, years. I miss the taste of root beer. I think Becker 33, which is the one that he used, was picked randomly by PlayStation, and my brother liked it, so kind of sad. Well, I mean, you can attach something to that. Just because you don't feel like your name has a whole lot of history or meaning behind it doesn't mean you can't, you know, do something to attach that to it. It's not a lost cause, don't worry. Like, I've had my name for 16 years. Like, that's... Of course it's got some meaning to me. Like, you don't exist for a long period of time and not have something attached to it. You got to get attached to the world somehow. Like, it's pointless to try and do away with attachments. Like, that's the name of the game. That's like playing Monopoly and intentionally not collecting money from other players. Like, you can, I suppose, but that's not the way you play the game, so why would you? But, I don't know. It's up to you. You live your life. You hate your IGN, it just exists? Well, I mean, put more thought into it. Change it up a little. You don't have to worry about it that hard. Just put something you like in there. Or a reference to something you like. I don't know. Did Jared get him, or name himself that after Subway Guy? No. Yeah, I was drinking water, though. But, no, Jared, if I recall, Jared got that account from a friend. His original account was Dark Joe. I'm drinking both soda and water, for the record. But yeah, he, I remember the name Dark Joe from like way back in 2012. Then he quit for a year, and a friend somehow gave him that account for some reason. And that was the account he was threatening us with at Valkyria, which is when we noticed him. By the way, he was like 12, 13 years old. This was in late 2013. Like, Jared joined the server really, really early, and it fucked him up. It really did. Like, you can tell just by how he was for years and years and years that he was an unhinged little creep. And the answer was simply that he was a young kid on, and I mean a legitimately young kid, on 2B2T. And another really young kid was X0XP, who was like 13 or 14 when he joined and did not need to be there. Supervise your children, people. But yeah, it obviously had bad effects on them. I don't recommend going on a server like 2B2T if you're under the age of 18, just because you'll get fucked up, man. You really will. I'm grateful I was as old as I was when I joined. I was already in my mid-20s, and I was more than capable of handling the native shitheads that prowled that whole place. Oh my god, like, a lot of you all probably don't know this. There was a time where bragging about smoking various drugs and stuff, and like, one dude bragged about doing mushrooms and other things. Like, there was a time when that was so common. Like, I would look in the chat and go, oh, they're talking about drugs again. And just tune them out. And be like, ah, well, fuck them. They're dumbasses, whatever. And the sheer amount of high school age people who were on 2B2T at that time just kind of like blew my mind. Because this was all very, you know, adult subject matter. And one of the druggies, I know who he is, I'm not going to name his name, because he's since gotten clean. But one of the druggies, he talked like a fucking pharmacist. And I was just, because I was studying to be a pharmacy tech at the time. And like, I was learning this shit. And I was like, dude, what? And he just picked it up because he had an interest in chemistry. And like, would use Silk Road and other things to get his drugs. And then when I got hired at a pharmacy about a year later, he talked about buying, I don't want to say the name of the compound, buying an illicit drug off of an old man. By the way, these were pain meds. he told me the drug, and I was like, my jaw dropped. Like, that was one of the first times I was on 2B2T, and my jaw literally dropped from reading chat. And I was just like, dude, A, that's fucked up because that old man needed that, and B, how are you alive? Like, it just absolutely astonished me, and I don't want to say who he is because some of you may not know who he is. Was it an opioid? Well, it was a pain medicine. You can conclude such things, I'm sure. It was a strong pain med, like a step below fentanyl. And it just blew me away that he was already doing things of that magnitude. It was not morphine, no. But, yeah. Have I talked to Pop Bob? Yeah, I talked to Pop Bob once. In voice chat, even. I've talked to him in game, but I did talk to him in a voice chat. Funny enough, that night I was talking to him in voice chat. I forget why we were all in the same chat. I think it was like because of King's Landing. But, I want to say... Yeah, that was, we were at Space Valkyria 2, and we'd already shut the end down, so there was no way to get new blocks, and I was desperate for dirt and grass, so I was at the ruins of Space Valkyria 1, digging up all the dirt and crops and grass that had gotten left behind, before it was really hardcore griefed, and I was like, oh sweet, free dirt, like, I need this is actually valuable. But anyway, so yeah, the drug dude, ended up getting clean, ironically, and he joined the military. And as far as I know, he's been doing great. Shit. So yeah, I felt bad for him because I was like, dude, you're gonna kill yourself. You're gonna OD or something. And he's like, yeah, probably. But then he got his life turned around, so I don't know. So if that dude could do it, I imagine Jared could probably do something about himself. Maybe. I don't know. Jared's a mess. I feel bad for him now. Not just because he joined way too early in life, but because, like, he had problems with his family and stuff, as far as I know, and he just never got any of it resolved. I don't know. Life is cruel, man. Pop Bob was... that's all I've heard. I've only ever heard his voice once. I couldn't say if he's legitimately fat. What it would have been like to experience the history of 2B in person. Well, that's the thing. It wasn't history at the time. When you experience something in person, it's just an experience. You don't think about it in those terms. Like, Space Valkyria 1 was only 6 years ago. That's nothing. Like, 5-6 years to you all, I imagine, is like, well, that's the difference between me, currently in high school, and me in middle or elementary school. But, like, no, like 5-6 years ago, I was in my 20s still. Like, that's nothing. These experiences are just that. They're memories. They're experiences because they're funny or they're interesting. I can remember attacking Pop Bob at spawn simply because he was there to fight and, like, getting my ass kicked. And there was nothing unique about that. But you guys would brand that as some form of, I don't know, history or whatever. Something unique, I guess. But it wasn't. It was just some jerk that I didn't like that I was trying to go out of my way to kill. So, I mean, you all will have experiences like that. That's the thing. You will probably one day be in a, oh my god, you're so famous situation. Or something similar of, oh wow, you got to do such and such? Wow, that must have been so cool. But you'll look back on it and go, well, no, it was just sort of normal. It was average. It was just whatever was there to do at the time. It wasn't special. Like, I don't know how to put it. Like, when you do something and you don't know that it will blow up and get famous, when you're just doing something, that's it. It's just an experience. You don't give it this bigger, badder meaning. Like, I don't know. There are people right now probably making history on 2B2T as we speak. And they're probably just thinking of it in terms of like, I can screw over those assholes in the Imperium. Or, man, I really hate those jerks in the Spawn Masons. This'll really stick in their craw. And they'll do whatever they do that ends up being famous and not even know until well after the fact. And then what? And then a bajillion fanboys will ask them, oh my god, you're Redstoner. Oh, dude, you're the dude who made the base so impregnable that FitMC made a video about it. And I'm like, no, they just made a video, or they just made a base that they, to the best of their knowledge, were doing to, you know, protect their investment and like just fuck everybody else over. And they even oddly enough reverse engineered NOCOM for their own unironic use. Like, they would not have thought of it in those terms. They would probably think that way now because it's gotten so much press. But at the time, they were just like, fuck this particular shop in question. Like, yeah, we'll make a killing. We can drive the prices up because there won't be any competition. But so what? The answer is go out there and make your own history. Like, it's not that special. It really isn't. When you go out there and do your own shit, you find that the magic is really not there. The magic comes after the fact when everybody has suddenly developed an obsession with it. And it's just silly. But that's how it is. Oh, what did Pop Bob sound like? He had a somewhat high-pitched voice. He talked sort of like this. And that was it. He kind of sounded full of himself a bit. But there wasn't really... He wasn't that impressive. He was just an asshole. That was it. Whether he's fat or not is irrelevant. That's just how the nerds choose to tease him. And see, watch him actually be, like, maybe a little chubby. And that's it. And his fatness has been purported, or has been blown out of proportion to legendary status or some shit. I don't know. Like, watch it be not at any level of what people think. Like, I guarantee you if you met Pop Bob, you wouldn't even know it. You'd probably be underwhelmed. That's the great part of virtual worlds. Sorry, thing scrolled up. Either you can down as you either go down as a legend in some short time relative to your spans as humans, but 5 to 6 years on a virtual world is a decade to you. Maybe. I think it's about age and experience and perspective. Person's history is just another day in the block game. Yeah, because it was just another day in the block game. Pro tip. All the days in the block game are just another day in the block game. Whether it's because you got found out and your base got blown up, or you just joined and have escaped spawn for the first time, or you've discovered your first exploit, or you're just living life, building whatever comes to mind. Like, every day is just another day on the block game. That's why I got bored and left, because it's all just the same shit. And without newer mechanics and newer blocks and stuff to keep me occupied, it just kind of got meh. Like, it was a waste of $20 every month to buy priority for something that I was quite honestly not even satisfied with anymore. So, like, yeah, I mean, Fit blows things out of proportion because he has a YouTube career that he has to, you know, he has to cater to an audience. He's got to make money and live. And inevitably, that's going to go away inevitably. Like, there will be a day where there is no Fit. That's a sad kind of thing to think, but, you know, that happens. Like, everything ends. That's inevitable. And so he has to make good with what he is and what he does now, so that maybe he can make a living later on, or at least maybe retire or something. I don't know. I don't know what his plans are. But the point is, he's got to capitalize how he can now so that he can make the best of his life. Like, we're all trying to do that in one way or another. It's just that some people have viewed this or that way as not good enough, or too criminal, or too whatever. And some things are legitimately criminal, I understand, but overblowing history on a block game ain't one of them. So that was kind of the butt of the joke for a very long time there among a lot of the old fags, because we were like, oh my god, they absolutely worship Fit. Like, these were events that, like I said, were just another day on the server. But they've been turned into this epic tale of Gilgamesh style of this or that. And yeah, that is fun. I agree. It's funny to watch. But at the same time, it's not glamorous. It's like show business. It really sounds way better than it actually is. Like, if you got the chance to act in a movie, while I'm sure you jump at it, you would probably also not want to do it again for a long time. At some point, you kind of realize, ah, hell, this is way too much work. Because it is. Let's be real, like, glamorizing things is... It's kind of a sickness, to a degree. It's just unfortunate, but... ah, well, what can you do? That's why I don't try to glamorize or overblow things that happened on at various points in history. Like, it really truly was just another day many times. Like, it was just another day. Like, the day Ormonger logged in at Asgard 2, we had no idea we were gonna fuck the whole place an hour or two later. We had no idea that we were going to literally commit an act that would be referred to as an Asgard 2. They committed Asgard 2. We had no idea that was going to happen. It was another day for us. And then we got betrayed, and it was just like, ah, shit, now we got to do something about it. Like, that is how history is. It's not fun or interesting until a year or more after. Well, maybe not a year, but... some amount of time has passed, you know? It's just one of those things. People's... until you're in the hot seat, you may not realize. Until it happens to you. And I guess that's because I'm much older than a lot of the fan base is. Most of the Fit fam is in there. Probably mid-teens. I don't even know. I don't keep up with Fit's stats, but you get the idea. An older perspective is sometimes worthwhile. Cylinder obsidian. Let's make it 3. Oh. Mask. Deep. Too deep for you, slate. There we go. So yeah, how did I find out about 2B2T? I ended up finding a thread on the Video Game Generals board back in early 2012, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so tired of single player. Like, I'm bored. I want a challenge. And so I found a server I thought was hardcore. And it was, just not in the way I thought of hardcore. And I got addicted and stuck there ever since, until I quit. I finally broke the habit. More than a year ago, though. Can you have the Discord link? Yeah, I made a community post about 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago, something like that. So, you know, go Discord. Go Discord it up, yo. Okay. $25, just like the stories and stuff. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes being that age is a good age. There's really not a whole lot wrong with being 25. I'd say 25 to 35 is that golden. That's your prime, I guess. I don't know. IGN prob. No, I didn't find out about it from IGN. IGN was years after I joined. Fit found out about it through the IGN stuff, funny enough. The IGN invasion of 2013. We had a whole whopping tremendous player base of 100. And the server ground to a fucking halt. Because it hadn't had that many people on it in a long time. And it was just like... Because I want to say we were hosted in Canada by that point. I want to say it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Sweden migration had already occurred. So we migrated to Canada from Sweden. But like... that was it. There we go. Let's see now. What was another day? That was just another day that everybody blows way out of proportion. Oh. Probably one of the back doors. Oh yeah, the Pop Bob's back door. I was a new fag in Pop Bob's back door. And, of course, he never knew anything about me. He never harassed me or cared to grief me. Because, you know, I didn't have anything. I wasn't anyone. And, I just remember people yelling in chat. I didn't know what was going on. There was tons of spam. Way more spam than there is today. And, yeah, it just... I didn't have a fucking clue what was going on. And if only I had known. Like, it's one of those situations where I would love to go back in time and just see what all was actually going on. Knowing what I know now, that would make things interesting. Virtual worlds with lore and history is a weird thing to think about. That it is. But it gives that human element to a game that a good 98% of games are completely lacking. That's such a hard thing. And that's predominantly why 2B2T has remained popular, or at least held a fan base. It's because it's got a human element to it. And a lot of us understood that way back in the day. Like, the map is what keeps people here, because that's the history. That is in essence 2B2T. That's its heart and soul. Resetting the map would do a lot of bad. And I can agree with that idea. But, you know, no matter how good of a writer you may be, or a world builder, or whatever, being able to imitate that human element of people have actually been here, not just you're in a fake world with fake history and fake lore. And no matter how interesting the fake history and fake lore is, knowing that real people, real players have done something will always draw more attention than just a made-up video game world. And there are a lot of really good made-up video game worlds. Like, we're talking some of the best games of all time. And yet, you know, why do people still play World of Warcraft? Like, there are probably a few people who have not just memories, but a pretty big impact on how the game has shaped up. And there is a human element to it, because it's been around for so damn long. Humans are fascinated with other humans, what can I say? I mean, we dedicate an entire field of science, or almost science, to it. I can never tell if psychology is a pseudoscience or not. Some people say it is, some people say it ain't. Who knows? But it's an interesting topic to think about. I like psychology of people. What makes humans tick and why. And no, I'm not a psych major, if anyone was wondering. He killed me and blew up my cabin. It was awful. Yeah. That was Fit. The funniest part about that is, and this is not something that he's ever said, this is something that I experienced alone. This is extremely unique. So I'm going to share it with you all, okay? This is a special piece, a special insight to Fit that you all will not get from anyone or anywhere else, okay? So it was maybe a week after that had happened. He was in his log cabin, Pop Bob found him, blew it up, all that. So after that, Fit was kind of like, we all were in the habit of doing these tiny chats back then. And I remember Fit getting in there, and he looked like a ripped, dude bro from college. And I was like, what's... Because he seemed kind of not upset, but like disturbed. Like something was wrong, a disturbance in the force, something like that. And I can explicitly remember going, what's got you... I didn't know who he was, because this is the first time I met him. But I was like, what's got you upset? Like, I could tell he wasn't, happy. And I was like, who kicked down your sandcastle? And we were busy worrying about Pop Bob and the lightning exploit at this time. We knew about it, we could use it, but we couldn't really do anything about it because Pop Bob, he'd had it for months. Hell, probably a year. Pop had it for such a long time. It was a lot like no comms, how you have no idea just how much damage this whole thing may have done. And yeah, it was pretty bad. And Fit had this sort of look on his face. He had his camera on, and I was just kind of like, "What's wrong?" And he managed to say, "I was just AFK." Like, he couldn't make sense of it, It would sort of be like writing down a girl's number on a bathroom stall wall, and it's a public restroom, and you're like, haha, I got him. I'll really get that bitch now. And 20 minutes later, she calls you and confronts you, knowing full well that you did it. And you have no way to like parse how did they figure it out? Like, what do? And so that was kind of the look on Fit's face where he was just like, I don't get it. How did he know where I was? And I was just like, oh yeah, the lightning exploit. Yeah, that's how he got you. And of course he didn't know what that was. And I was like, oh yeah, did you know that lightning strikes give away player pack? They send location packets to all players indiscriminately. And he was like, what? And I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing. And needless to say, he wasn't happy about it. But of course, again, there's just nothing that could be done about it. Like, that was the situation. Like, we all had to just kind of make do, and that was it. And then when I explained to him how it worked and why, he mentioned his log cabin, and I was just like, okay, well, I'm sorry you lost your little shack, but, it's whatever. Like, speak to me when you've lost an entire stash, because, by the way, this was on the heels of me losing an entire stash to Pop Bob because of lightning exploit. And, all he lost was a log cabin. Remember, he was playing exclusively vanilla at the time, so you can't really fault him too badly. And, I was just like, oh, yeah, I guess that sucks. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal to me because I'd lost plenty of things over the course of just the 2 or so years that I'd been playing at that point. And I was just like, yeah, cry me a river. Like, it sucks, but yeah, sometimes you're just, sometimes you eat the bear and sometimes the bear eats you. And that was what happened. And when I told him all this stuff that had happened, and it made sense to him, I could see the relief on Fit's face. Like, it all clicked. Like, he's like, oh, wow, that's what I'm dealing with? And I could tell he was both out of his element, but relieved that it was the sort of thing that could kind of go away after a while. And yeah, to be fair, the exploit had a lifespan. All exploits have a lifespan. That's how it is. It's not perpetually raining. At some point, the clouds part, and you get a respite. But sometimes it rains on you, and you have no choice but to accept that. And so that's what happened with Fit. That was my first meeting with him. And it was funny to me because I was like, you just lost a log cabin. Like, you didn't even lose all that much. It wasn't even interesting. Like, compared to things that would be lost in the future, it's especially funny because it's just not that interesting. It's not that amazing. But I don't know. You never forget one of your first bases. I think that was like one of the first bases Fit made by himself. I think that was kind of why it was special to him. I don't remember. I just remember him mentioning the log cabin. So yeah. He was concerned Pop Bob would find his house. Well, not IRL. Just the game. He couldn't make sense of how it happened in-game, because he was like, I didn't leave a trail. But in reality, yeah, he did. Like, everybody leaves a trail. There's no avoiding it. And it wouldn't shock me if there was a way to track people's player movements in 1.16 and later versions. Even though New Chunks is patched, it still wouldn't surprise me if there was another similar thing or something like that. But see, now the new meta is, once again, the nerds have set a new bar that anyone else will have to rise to. And that is the meta of submitting a crappy or inferior plugin to literally bug a feature for a hack into Paper or whatever your server framework of choice, and get them to basically sponsor your hacktivities. Because that's essentially no comms. That's what happened with that. And it's not as blatant as a backdoor or a like a keylogger or some other thing. It's not maybe as blatant as that, but something as simple as allowing you to check chunks or interact with blocks outside your loaded area. Like something clever like that. So the arms race of exploits and activities has only just risen. It hasn't. It has not fallen. It has only gotten more intense. And that's how it is. That is the internet in a shell nut. Nice to see the wise old man like Jack tell stories. Such no blasphemy of over bloating the points of, yeah. Well, like I said, Fit does stuff like that for his job. He has to stay relevant. Like, you may not like it, but that is the nature of the job. He's got to do this to put food on the table, to pay his bills and live his life. And yeah, he's probably quite rich. I don't know. That personally ain't my place to judge. I don't care. I don't care how rich or good other people have it. They're not me. I live my life, you live yours. Maybe we'll meet in the middle somewhere. But envy and jealousy over other people's accomplishments is very self-defeating. And by the way, Fast Vincent does another wonderful, wonderful summation of various points in history. bases, events, and so on. So like you and Sal C1 to a degree does a pretty good job too. Like, not everybody is fit. And that's okay. Like there's room for a fit, but there's room for a much more, you know, constrained or less hype involved, you know? There's room for normalcy, ordinary whatever. Like, it's okay. Don't feel bad. Sometimes there being breaks on the hype train is a good thing. So yeah, I will chatter at length about all sorts of points in 2B2T history. I'm a rambling man, you know. But I also like a variety of other topics too. Who likes anime? Anime. She's such a pretty girl, that anime. God damn it, that was stupid. Why did I say that? It's the caffeine talking. Must be. Yes, Mike? It was funny. Thank you. I'm trying, I guess. Or something, I don't know. Now, how did I have it over here? Okay, so I had it flush. Cool. Here's the story of how the most famous grief place in the single dirt is 69 years ago. Oh my god, I hope there's not actually legitimately going to be a 69 years ago for 2B2T. I can't imagine that. Like, I can, but I don't want to. Realistically, you can imagine 70-something years of 2B2T history. But in all honesty, like, legit, no joking, there is an actual history lesson in dirt and sand around spawn. I guarantee you, okay, there are almost 11? Yeah, almost 11-year-old blocks of dirt and sand at spawn. Some of you who have little sisters and brothers are younger than some of the sand and dirt at spawn. No joke. Not overblowing anything out of proportion. Legitimately. There are some blocks at spawn that have been there since practically day one, or definitively day one. There's so much area from the beta 1.2 to the beta 1.5 time, which was like February to June of 2011. There's so much land in that section of time that was generated. Entire fucking trees, entire forests that just no one has touched. Nobody's bothered. Some of these areas even stretch as far out as 100K. I followed a dude's trail back in 2013 out that far, and I recognized it as beta land, and I was like, oh my god, who the fuck came out here in beta? Because remember, you could fly hack back in those days. And I was just like, what? Are you serious? Yeah, no joke. People have done that. There are sand and dirt blocks older than some people. And that's a thing. That is kind of, that's the essence of 2B2T. There are some blocks here now that are older than some people. So just remember that every time you join the server, you could run across a block that is older than someone you know. If you're a young kid or have little siblings or cousins or whatever. You get the idea. By the time it reaches 69 years, House will have died of cocaine overdose. God, we can only hope and pray. But we can also only hope and pray that the person who inherits it ends up not fucking us over. Keeping the whole laissez-faire philosophy of the server in mind. We can only hope. What 2BGG has taught me, collection will never last forever. Oh yeah, no, nothing lasts forever. All things are doomed to end. Or rather, I should say, destined to end. Doomed is such a strong word. I think I'm going to vary it up on this side. But yeah, that's the way the universe works. It has always worked this way. It will always work this way, guaranteed. Or your money back. Just kidding, life has no refunds. But yes, everything ends. That is the one thing you can count on. Everything that begins must one day end. So don't fret. Have fun. Enjoy it. There we go. Make a nice little pool here. And we'll create a happy little stagnant pond for this water I'm about to pour to flow through. Or channel, not pond. If these damn stairs will cooperate. I kind of like that. Happy little accident. Oh. I need my gravel, or it's not gravel, my concrete powder to behave. It's like a fancy ass rock garden. That's the word. There we go. Put a happy little water babbling brook here. Perfect. Now it just needs waterfall. And another one. Okay. Crazy shit like that. He is just a dude. Just a guy. House is clearly a crab. I know. When will people understand that he and his crabmen are poised to dominate the world? The cocaine is just the beginning. Like, you know, next thing we know, Housemaster will have, fuck, I don't know. I can't keep that stupid shit up. There we go. Oh. Well, you can tell where I'm going to put the hole. Perfect. Fill this all in. And there we go. Housemaster would fuck the world up 1,000 times more. I don't know. Just like how Jack isn't someone who built the massive space station in the depths of the sky yet. He's just some guy who built block over the void and made them look pretty. Yeah, pretty much. Wonder how old House is. He was doxxed a while ago, and he's not that old. He's a little younger than me. That's about it. House seems like the type of person to get out of his SS uniform and cause World War III. I don't think he's that bad. I think he's an unironic Nazi. Like, I legitimately wonder. There's so many people who are like, yeah, Nazis. But they also are all basically keyboard warriors themselves. So, like, you gotta wonder, do they really care? Are they doing it just to, like, piss people off? Because I think that's what it is. A lot of the neckbeard types love doing that. So it wouldn't shock me if they were unironic Nazis. Or ironic Nazis, sorry. Not unironic. Damn it. There's more trolling out there than people give credit for. Okay. Oh. Okay. And so in this manner, I carry on. Oh. No. Don't just pour out in only 2 areas. There we go. Needs to be a mess. Whoops. That drained more than I expected to. I'm so glad I don't have to fill things in with water by hand any longer. Oh my god, filling in the disc was a nightmare. There we go. Like, people don't realize I filled all this in by hand. this area with water buckets, this area, this area. I think that's it. Like, that's a lot of area to put junk in. Water, stained glass, sea lanterns, like, bruh. There we go. Now let's see how this all looks. I want to ride down it. I haven't ridden down this track of mine. Okay, so you walk in this way. I'll put something more in here, I'm sure. This is a lot of empty space. I don't like that. Pretty sure I had something there. Okay, so you walk up in here. That'll go somewhere eventually. There we are, right here. Or I think this is the right one. No, this one takes you over there. Oh well, I'll write it anyway. Oh shit. I'll have to fix that. So yeah, you get to tour through the city this way. There are of course multiple ways you will be able to tour through the city as well as on foot, but you get the idea. Doing the Valks by hand, it wasn't as bad as you think. The process goes surprisingly smooth. Kind of. One of the bigger issues is materials. Like, you can easily run out of stuff you didn't expect to run out of. Like, there were multiple times throughout the building process that I was like, oh my god, I'm going to run out of quartz. Oh my god, I'm going to run out of quartz. And that will grind your whole project to a immediate halt. This is fun. I like this. It's a very distinctive style. Well, thank you. Whoa, what? Oh my god. I'm in the thing. There we go. Okay, so that spiral tower is awful. I kept getting put in it. I wonder if that would suffocate you in survival mode. I don't like that idea. I'm gonna have to fix that. Yeah, you do hit a rhythm eventually. But... Now let's see how it is going up. I had several infinites. I mean, yes and no. I had imps that we threw in droppers, and they would drop the items out one by one. So no, they were not as infinite as you think. Okay, so you don't take suffocation here. God, that's terrible to look at. Oh, man. Okay, so that's useless. Oh, wait, no it isn't. That's useful. That's used for this. Oh my god, there's no... I can't change a single one of these. You just get thrown into this over and over and over, even though it's... God, that's awful. I'm gonna have to redesign this. Shit. I really liked this. Oh well, anyway, the infinite blocks were not truly infinite, first of all. That name's a bit of a misnomer. It was several billion blocks compressed into one, but you had to use a dropper to throw them out. So, you know, we'd hook it up to a clock and throw it out that way. And that was fine. But one of the big problems we ran into was if you unloaded the chunks too quickly in the wrong time. Oh, no, other way. Damn it. Anyway, if you unloaded the chunks improperly, you would essentially break your inf. So while I had... Oh, damn it. While I had an inf, several infs, they were only as good as I could basically put them in a dispenser and hope that the damn server didn't restart. Because trust me, the server restarted quite frequently back then. And it was a nightmare. Because when you were dealing with something as sensitive as an inf, you didn't know if that was going to be the end of it. You had no way to know what to expect from moment to moment. And it was exciting because we had all these infinite blocks suddenly where we'd previously been light on resources. Whoops. But at the same time, like, I had like 24 double chests of quartz and stone. And remember, this is pre-shulker box. Okay, well this tunnel ride's good. I like it. Great job, me. But yeah, you could very easily screw yourself out of this stuff. As good as it wasn't perfect. I'm gonna like dot the underside of this. Just like a smattering of glowberry vine. Infinite but not fast? No, it wasn't technically infinite because inevitably the server would restart. And it would be random. It would be out of nowhere. You had no way to know what to do or any of that. And if you if shit went sideways, your inf would break and you'd just be out of luck. And there were not many infs at that time, and they would all eventually they'd be patched anyway, so it wouldn't matter. But that's the point. Like, it was a great opportunity, but all opportunities are fleeting. You gotta chase the rabbit while you can. If not, you miss it. And even then, it still eventually gets away. So it's not a guarantee of anything. It's not truly infinite. Nothing is truly infinite. Those types of names are misnomers. They really... They make you believe something that's not quite true. Because like I said, an inf block was several billion blocks compressed into one due to how the code worked. And that was fine, but you were never going to get the chance to make use of all several billion. That was never going to work. First of all, where would you even store all of that? I can also remember Kino Rana, back when he was in my group around the time of Space Valk. He wanted to shut off the end at one point and make something he called Treasure Planet. Finds. And Treasure Planet was going to be basically like a Death Star kind of thing. And he was just going to make a giant stash there and have it be accessible near end spawn. And I was like, well, we could build, you know, a giant Death Star out of gold blocks because we have an inf gold. We could make that happen. And he was like, yeah, okay. And then he proceeded to die in the void 50 times and kind of gave up on it. Those were good times, though. Oh, they changed the vines texture. Huh. When did they do that? Oh, it must have been with everything else. What am I thinking? This will help the vines to grow down. There we go. Just replace every other quartz block with a redstone. No. That would look terrible. There's a finesse to doing things. You have to be patient and learn how to make use of it. Yeah. This'll look good. I hope. If not, we'll kill it all. It's supposed to somewhat be a nature-y kind of thing, too. Alright, alakazam, alakazam. Game rule. Random tick speed, let's put it at 100. That's not that fast. Let's put it at 1,000. There we go. Beautiful. I love the natural randomness. The curtain of vines that just gives it this, okay, no, gives it this wonderful, I think it was what, 3? But yeah, gives it this wonderful natural look that you can't really get anywhere else. Oh, can you climb up these? Oh wow, you can climb up these. I had no idea. I mean, I knew you could, eventually they changed it to where you could climb up vines normally. It used to say that you had to have a block on the back, and then you could climb up the vine. Which I always thought was silly. Because, you know, you see people swinging from vines and shit. Whoops. Now, did they change it? Damn. You can't climb on these at all. Maybe that's the, yeah, That has to be the warped vine. Or no, the crimson vine. Whatever it is. I thought about using the red vine here. But, I don't know. I like the greenery. It makes it feel more alive. Yeah. Grandpa, can you tell me some stories from the war? The Russia war? Yes, I can tell you stories. However, it is fast approaching a time that I kind of decided will be my closing time, which is now. So when I do all these vines, I'm probably going to shut it off for the evening. Well, this was fun. Wasn't it fun, everybody? Blink twice if you're being held against your will. But don't blink because you're not. It was nice, thank you. Yeah, Pop, Bob, go back and draw your NSF tip. What? What even? Very fun. Jack. Stone Cold Killer. Hey, Stone Cold Killer. I haven't seen you in a while. I'm sure you've been here. I just haven't paid enough attention. It's been a whirlwind, I tell you. You still play 2B2T Stone Cold? I quit a while ago now. God, it's been over a year. I can't believe that. Around the time I started doing Anarchy Skyblock is around when I quit. So I haven't played there in a while. There we go. So this gives you something below when you're walking down here to look up at. Obviously, I'm going to continue the waterfall motif. And then up here, as you're riding along the tunnel, you get a look at the channels and all that other shit. Should be interesting. Should be quite interesting. Probably going to put some lanterns here or there. Kind of light it up. Something like that. I like the soul lantern. It was a good addition. Oh, fuck. What's that? Yeah, that should do it. For now. Well, I do believe this is it. No, I do pay attention to you all on occasion, but not as often as I should. I get caught up in what I'm doing. I mean, you can't really blame me. Been months, but yes, okay, well, good. Well, that's gonna be it. Thank you all for everybody watching me, coming out, wasting your Saturday evening on me. I appreciate it. Take care. I will see you on Monday. I'll post a new schedule tomorrow and all that. Nothing really. Nothing new or crazy, you know. It's more of the same, really. I'm reliable that way. Thank you all to those who donated. That's just you, Cerebral Parasite. Love you, man. Take care. Y'all have a good one. See y'all later.